Hello and welcome everybody to this new webinar organized by Dataxis and sponsored by Media Distillery, which we have titled How VTR Chile Solved the TV Replays Gap Dilemma. My name is Juan Pablo Conti and I am the Content and Audience Development Manager for the Americas at Dataxis. Our proposition for today's webinar is very simple. Over the years, Chile in general and VTR in particular have established a strong reputation for pioneering the development of cutting-edge video technologies that were later adopted in other Latin American markets. In line with this rich tradition, VTR has recently found an ingenious way, I would say, and as the title of this session suggests, to solve a problem that was generating really a lot of frustration among subscribers watching on-demand TV content. Our two experts here today will help us understand what exactly that problem was and how they managed to correct it. But this problem really was not unique to VTR in Chile. And I would say every single pay TV operator that is already recording or planning to record the programming of the TV channels that it distributes for later VOD access by its subscribers faces the same dilemma. So the lessons that the VTR and Media Distillery learned might prove invaluable to any other service provider looking to tackle similar issues. So let me introduce our two speakers for today's session. Edwin Elberg is the Senior Director of Product Development, Entertainment and Connectivity at Liberty Latin America. Based in Santiago in Chile, he's responsible for the strategy, design, development, and deployment of the fixed residential products serving 2 million TV and 2.5 million broadband customers in 20 countries. Obviously, the countries where Liberty Latin America operates. Before joining Liberty Latin America, Edwin held several product development leadership positions in VTR, in Telefonica, and in Verizon Communications. He also holds 5 US patents in the areas of interactive TV and rich voice and data communications. Roland Sars is the CEO of Media Distillery, an entrepreneur based in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Roland joined Media Distillery as its CEO in 2016. And heads the company's sales, marketing, and growth strategy. In 2004, he founded Backup Agent, one of the first global cloud backup vendors on the market. 10 years later, and with that company having onboarded over 900 service providers as clients, that business was acquired by Acronis, where he became Vice President of Service Provider Sales. Roland was also the co-founder of the Dutch Startup Association, where he served as the first chairman of the board. So welcome, gentlemen. We will start right away. Roland, I guess most people in our audience today will be more or less familiar with VTR, Chile's largest pay TV operator, and as we said, part of the Liberty Latin America group. Not everyone, I suspect, will know Media Distillery. So let's start with a quick introduction of the company, which is headquartered in Amsterdam and was founded 7 years ago. So a relatively new company. What is the company's specific area of expertise in the TV and video industry?
Yeah, and thanks for having me, Juan Pablo and Edwin. Nice to see you again. Thank you both for having this conversation in English. My Spanish is a bit rusty. So about Media Distillery. So Media Distillery is a software company that applies artificial intelligence to video. And basically our algorithms understand every part of the video, whether it is an event, like when does a program start, program end, or a commercial break, whether it is a topic, what a program is about, what is being said, or who is on screen, or anything that has been said, like the speech, for example. And with this technology, we can boost the viewer engagement of video platforms by distilling and understanding all the video content that goes through the platform. And so we help entertainment companies, so pay TV operators, cable companies, and such like, to increase the viewer attention by creating a better visual experience, higher engagement, and to faster access to relevant content and more engaging advertisement, basically. And all of this, we believe, starts with understanding the content in your platform. And to give you an idea, we currently analyze over 20,000 hours of video on a daily basis. Our technology makes an impact on over 20 million households worldwide. And we do this for companies like cable companies such as Telenet in Belgium, NOS in Portugal, and VTR in Chile, as we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely, that's we're going to be reviewing a very specific deployment that you did there in Chile with the VTR. Edwin, so we're going to be talking a lot to date about user experience. When you look at the current pay TV market in Latin America as a region, what would you see? What are subscribers demanding from their service providers in terms of user experience, and what can operators do to meet these expectations?
Well, consumers are very demanding. There is a lot of competition, and I mean, you can see that all the operators, we have to be very quick to adopt the latest user experience trends, because the things that our customers see on other internet platforms, they're used to them, and they want those same rich and user-friendly experiences to be part of their pay TV of their pay TV world, right? I mean, it's no longer the time where you could get away with a 15-year-old DOS-like user experience and expect your customer to accept it. We have a very, very intense competition in many of our markets. For instance, here in Chile, a customer, some of them could choose between 6 providers. So it is really fierce there. And we have to shape up, and we have been doing so in terms of providing the best experience for our customers.
Mm-hmm. So let's start getting into the gist of what we're here today, because there was a very specific service called Replay TV that you had deployed. Let's start by understanding really what is Replay TV. When was this service launched by VTR? Is it available to all subscribers? And then explain to us, please, why was this service generating frustration among your customers?
Yeah, so this service is one effort in the sense of what we were saying before, right? Bring an internet-like experience to the customers, and in that sense, the customers are used to not wait until the show is aired, right, to watch the show. They want to watch the show wherever they are, but also whenever they please. And that means that, yes, I mean, some years ago we had PVRs, and that is fine, but in reality, you cannot have the customer to have the responsibility of knowing beforehand what they will want eventually to watch and record it, right? So Replays, really, we record for them, and the customer, whenever they get into the Tuna channel, and the program is showing there, they get to answer a simple question: do you want to watch this program as it is now or from the beginning, right? That is kind of the key ingredient of this service, but also to be able to navigate back in time through the EPG, which is something that pay TV customers are used to do. I mean, the EPG is probably the most familiar piece of interface that the customers have been accustomed to. So you can really start a program that has already started, but also you can start and watch a program that has already ended. And that's the concept of Replay TV. It has been very, very successful. We launched it in first in Chile and Puerto Rico. And it was, I would say, very, very heroic in the sense that we were able to launch it in platforms that were not designed from the beginning to do so. Okay, today it's probably much easier to provide.
It was known in the industry as a catch-up TV functionality, right? So
yeah,
that's what you're describing.
Restart. I mean, there are many names. Yeah. And then, as you were saying, Juan Pablo, the thing is that, well, customers starting using this like crazy. I mean, it was a huge success. But as you said, some sort of a frustration in the sense of something we really did not pay that much attention before, which is metadata accuracy was now important. So why is that? Well, if you have some error, let's say 10, 15 minutes on the start time of a show, and you're watching live TV, no big deal, right? I mean, you will wait your 15 minutes or so, and that's fine. But in replay, that means that you may be missing the starting of a show. So if a show's ended later, I mean, started later than the time, is because the previous show ended later than the time, right? And 15 minutes can be a big bummer, right? Because you lose the ending of the show. Or maybe you have to wait a long time for the beginning, and in some cases, the rights would not allow you to fast forward. Yeah. So, while customers were very, very enthusiastic in adopting this technology, this service, we saw some frustration, and we really tried several things on how do we do this? Can we maybe add guard times, right? I mean, start before the program, end after the end of the program. That not only increased our storage cost, but also it created a frustration, especially at the beginning, because you as a customer want to start watching the show when you click play, and not even if you could do fast forward, which again, in some cases you could not because of rights. I mean, doing fast forward is not the, let's say, Netflix experience, right? So the people expect a clean way for the show to start whenever they click play. So we had that issue. Customers were not calling us because of that, right? I mean, we have to be very clear that customers, this is kind of a secondary frustration in the sense that Replay was an add-on service that they got for free, so they were still happy with it. But we saw that some customers were trying the service and not coming back because of this kind of frustration.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a clear description of the problem. Roland, we know that you managed to provide some help there. So how was Media Distillery able to help VTR solve this specific problem?
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, as Edwin already laid out, so a TV program usually starts later, sometimes earlier, but most of the times later than the time that was indicated in the electronic program guide, the EPG.
EPG.
Well, this program is already as old as TV exists, like over 70 years. But when watching live, well, you would just get a drink or you would do something else. You would come back and the program would start. But nowadays, with consumers having a very high expectancy in terms of, let's say, a VOD-like experience, as they're used from Netflix or Disney Plus or any other service, they would just like a program to start immediately once they select it to watch. And well, this is one of the most frustrating elements, as Edwin already mentioned, and we see the same with other operators as well. And it can be an inhibitor for consumers to embrace and adopt a replay environment. So our technology, as I already explained in the introduction, Media Distillery analyzes the video content, so the visual aspect of the video, to very accurately identify the exact start of a TV program. We do this by identifying all kinds of visual elements in the screen. So this can be a channel logo appearing, visual bumpers, age indicators, announcements like now and next, all this kind of visual overlays or visual indicators can learn our machines, our artificial intelligence algorithms, that something is happening, like there's a transition of one program to the other, or there's a transition between a program and a commercial break. And as a result, our technology points to the exact moment, up to a second accuracy, when the exact program start was. So as a result, when a consumer selects a program to start over or to replay, it just starts immediately. It sounds very logical, but it never was the case until our technology was applied.
Okay, clear. And how did both companies end up working on this specific project, and when and how did the project start? Edwin?
Sure. So this was a great case of serendipity. Roland, I met Roland when he came to an LGI meeting when we were the same company with Liberty Global. We were part of Liberty Global, and I was in the Netherlands for a product summits that I mean we used to have there, and Roland was the guest speaker. And he was showing this amazing technology that I remember. He was showing a video of race cars where you could identify the ads that would appear in the cars, in the helmets of the pilots, in the street. And I thought, wow, this is magic. So I was so amazed by this technology. And at that point, I had just launched Replay TV, and I was having this problem that I really didn't know how to solve. So I asked Roland, do you think your technology could be used to identify when program starts and ends? And he said, yeah, of course. So we continue talking. I think the big breakthrough was on an IBC meeting where I introduced Roland to the technology partners that we use to do the Replay TV service, so the recordings and that, because at the end of the day, what Roland would provide, Media Distillery would give us the exact timestamps for a program, but that needed to be fit into the recording system to fix the pointers, right? So we needed, we needed to productize, so to say, this technology. And there we started discussions. We did a pilot with a few channels from Chile. So we sent our feeds to the Netherlands, and the results were great. And they were able to identify the time and fix, I mean, sometimes the deltas of about half an hour between what the guide said the program should starting time was and the actual one. So it was a big, I mean, very impressive results. And then basically the adventure began to turn this into really a product and integrate it into our service.
And Roland, what specific challenges did your team face in terms of adapting that video analysis technology that you described to this very specific problem that the VTR presented to Media Distillery, as Edwin clearly described in that early meeting in Amsterdam?
Well, I think, well, we call this product EPG Correction, and we see that this this problem or the frustration of EPGs not being accurate is a universal problem. We're seeing it with the same problem with different TV operators around the globe. And we at the moment actually have quite some experience. We do over 800 channels worldwide with correcting EPG start times. However, what we saw with VTR in Chile is that the discrepancy, so the delta between the accurate start time and the advertised start time in the EPG, was much larger than we see with, for example, European operators. So VTR gave us actually a bigger challenge than we were used to here in Europe. And to give you an indication, I actually collected some numbers. So we currently analyze over 2,500 programs on a day for VTR. So that's close to 1,500 hours of content on a daily basis. And the average deviation is over 2 minutes. So that means that we correct like 2 minutes per program on average. And with the big national channels, which are probably, but Edwin, correct me if I'm wrong, the most watched channels, the deviation that we can correct may run up to 15 to 20 minutes. And that is actually quite a lot. And we correct times for over 95% of the programs. So it means that less than 5% of the programs already had an accurate start time in the EPG. So that means that, well, almost all programs were actually up for a good correction. So yeah, I'm very happy that we can contribute in such a valuable way.
Probably connected with the infamous Latin American lack of punctuality, right? So I suspect you might have a lot of potential customers here with the same problem in Latin America. Edwin, does the EPG correction work if a subscriber is accessing a recorded program through an app instead of just the set-top box? Is it applicable, the technology, in that scenario as well?
Yes, what we do is to correct the pointers in the service. So it doesn't really depend on what you do to consume the program, which app or set-top box you use. So
okay.
Yeah, that is there.
Okay. So Edwin, Replay TV as a service, I'm wondering, how valuable is it as a tool for churn reduction for VTR? Do you have a way of measuring this?
Yes, actually we do measure it very carefully, because at the end of the day, it is not an inexpensive project. I mean, you can imagine all the infrastructure to do all these recordings, all the effort it took from programming, right, and getting rights for something that at the moment was not obvious. I mean, what is this DVR? I mean, what are you guys doing with this, right? And also in terms of being able to run this, so in VTR, it was very important for us not to have this service only for the newer set-top boxes, but for all the customer base. And in that sense, it was very important to figure out whether our assumptions that were exactly in terms of churn reduction, right? Because we were not able to charge extra for this service, were indeed met. And I'm very glad to say that, yes, definitely the adoption of the service is much larger than what we expected. So about half of the customers in VTR consume some form of non-linear, most of them replay TV. And out of those customers that consume non-linear, it's way more than the two-digit threshold that we had put as a goal. So this is paying for itself several times, and we are very, very happy and excited with this service.
Okay. I just want to remind everyone in the audience, if you have any questions for Roland or Edwin, you are able now, if you want to post that question, you will find in this Zoom tool the Q&A section. Use please that specific section, not the chat, but the Q&A. Let us know if you want to whom the question is addressed. And we will dedicate the last 5 to 10 minutes to take any questions from you. Edwin, okay, so that's, you're clearly measuring replay TV as a service. Interesting usage stats that you're gathering. On top of that, now when you incorporate EPG correction technology, what impact are you seeing, or do you expect it to have on your audience as well?
Yeah, so as Roland was saying, I mean, we have some programmers that are very disciplined with reporting time, but others that don't. And you would be surprised, and it's not really, it's not just the national networks. Yes, those guys are sometimes a bit lax in their programming in terms of timing, but there are some networks from the US where the Latin American feed, which is not the same feed as you would get in the US, would be off by so much. So let me give you an example. I don't want to name any programmers, but one channel I remember, it was a lot of short programs, I mean half-an-hour programs, and the delta was about 15 minutes. So in reality, you would get a 50% error, right? If you take into
the duration of the show,
to account the duration of the program. So doing a replay for that channel was useless. And actually I had to turn it off, right? Because I mean, advertising, I mean, it would just create frustrations, right? I mean, you would see the replays logo on the channel that we put on the EPG, and you would think, oh, I can do replay, but in reality, because of this error, the replay was not useful. So now we can bring that channel back into the replay service, and that is really how much value the media distillery technology is bringing to us. It's not just small deviation of a couple of minutes. Sometimes it's the difference between being able to have replay on a channel and not.
And Edwin, of course, you come from VTR. We're specifically talking about this deployment on the VTR network, but as we said in your introduction, your current role is much wider than VTR's, and your product development responsibilities now includes all of Liberty Latin America's operations in Central America and the Caribbean. So I'm wondering, are you planning on expanding the rollout of EPG correction technology onto some or all of these other Liberty operations?
Yes, definitely. We are in the middle now of deploying a regional cloud TV platform for all of our countries. We have already deployed it in Chile, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, and Panama, and more countries are going to come in the following months. And that technology is, I mean, it is really a great Android TV platform, but today the replay service has the inaccuracies that you would see before in Chile. So my next adventure with our media distillery friends implies bringing this technology into the regional pay TV platform, so that all our customers throughout Latin America and the Caribbean can enjoy this updated and improved replay TV service.
Okay, and Roland, Liberty Latin America, as Edwin was very clearly explaining, really has been one of the region's early adopters of the Android TV platform in many of these markets. But so can the EPG correction technology also be integrated in this environment, in this Android TV environment? Have you had the opportunity to work on previous Android TV projects in Europe, where we know really that the Google middleware is also gaining traction among pay TV operators there?
Yeah, it's definitely getting traction, and yeah, of course, I would always say we can integrate. It's in the end, we provide a lot of flexibility of applying our detections to each middleware or backend platform, and it's very easy to integrate. And I think particularly with a platform as Android TV, accurate start times are more important for a viewer to get a consistent experience over the whole platform. And so we can make sure that people get a VOD-like experience also for the broadcast part of the platform. And apart from start times, Media Distillery can also generate deep metadata for like a segment of a program. As I already explained, we can also identify what topics are in a TV program. So that means that consumers can search on a particular topic or a person or an event. And this is obviously what Google is very strong at themselves, and basically applying a powerful search functionality like the universal search as Android TV offers, that you can search across many sources of content combined with a very deep level of metadata describing all the content that is available in a replay environment. Is a perfect match and a very good solution for consumers to get access to the content they want even faster.
Okay, thank you for that, and thank you to our audience. They're already sharing some questions, and I'm seeing them now. I think we will start taking them now because they feed straight into the same of course. Conversation that we're having. So let's take some of them. Jose Morel, for example, asks, this EPG correction work with what TV systems? Cable, IP, others? Roland, in terms of distribution technologies typically used by operators, we know VTR in Chile is cable, but would it work on IPTV, DTH, satellite? Is there any difference?
No, there's basically no difference. So how this works in terms of integration is that Media Distillery needs obviously access to the video streams, so to the broadcast channels, and therefore we would need to have some integration on the platform side of the customer. This can be cable, it can be IPTV. That doesn't really matter. And we then analyze all the content and we provide an API with the exact timestamp correlating or let's say linking it to the original ID in the EPG. So we say like this program that has this unique ID in the EPG. This is what the exact time that we identify, and that can be integrated easily into any middleware system or backend system or in the playout directly. And well, we have lots of documentation on this. So well, I invite the person that asked this question to get in touch so we can share that API information as well.
Okay, and another question. Do you run, this is perhaps for you, Edwin, do you run this timestamp adjustment for VTR predefined recordings only, or also for subscriber triggered recordings?
Well, it doesn't really make a difference as long as it is a central recording. So I saw some other question asking whether we do something in the set-top box. Not in this case. It is for the central recordings used for replay that we do this adjustment of the pointers to every program.
Okay. Another question here, let me see, I don't know, will your Android TV platform be standard launcher or custom launcher? In case your answer is the latter, can we please know who will be the UX provider? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to that. It is public info. We use TiVo as the UX provider for our Android TV platform.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the. I see there's more questions coming. Juan Encarnacion, do you have any documentation that could be useful for us? Well, I think Roland already mentioned that. You will be able to get in touch with them for documentation. I have a couple of questions on my own, and then if there are any final questions, we'll take them as well. So, and we're starting to round up. Edwin, what would you say really is the most important element to attract new users and keep, importantly, the existing subscribers? Is it pricing? Is it content? Is it user experience, as we're discussing here? Is it a combination? What's your take on this? Yeah,
so first on TV, what you sell is content. So make no mistake, if your content is no good, then your service is not going to be good. Okay, so content is king, and that won't change. But now, when you are in a market with so much content offering, and even with your own content, right? So if you think, let's say you are running 100 TV channels. So at some point, a customer just for pay TV would have 100 options, right? But then if you add replay, and let's assume we have 48 hours of replay to this, with programs running an average of 1 hour, well, you have to multiply those 100 by 48. the number is big, right? And it's just, we are talking about just live TV. So you really need to have an experience that can help the customer discover, browse, and enjoy those that content, right? That the experience as the content becomes ever more available, right? And I'm not even taking into account other sources of content that you will have to integrate if you really want to position yourself as a super aggregator, like the OTTs, like your own VOD, pay-per-view, personal recording. Some audience were mentioning. Well, all those are options. You need to help your customers navigate through those options, and you need to make sure that when they find the program they want to watch, that watching experience is perfect, seamless, and if they miss the last 15 minutes of a show, you may not get a second chance.
Okay, so final question from my side, Roland. What do you predict will happen in the next 5 years in the pay TV and video industry?
Well, this industry is in constant change at the moment, and you see that traditional TV operators and broadcasters are seeing more and more entrants. As Edwin already laid out, consumers can choose up to 8 different platforms for consuming video nowadays, and they're all competing for customer attention, for eyeballs, for viewing time, basically. And the amount of video available to consumer is ever increasing. And consumers just have limited time to watch. And I think, therefore, that the main pillars in the next few years will be around personalization and around content aggregation. So, well, personalization is obviously important for a consumer, that when he or she opens a TV platform, that content is available on the home screen in a nice way, and ideally content that this consumer likes based on previous viewing behavior or based on certain let's say interests that were put into the system or anything like that. What we can do here, for example, one thing I didn't mention yet is we can also create nice looking images, like automatically generate images like thumbnails or backdrops that are appealing and informative, and that can replace a standard stock image in a video platform, for example. So that makes a video platform much more engaged and personalized. But the other thing I mentioned is content aggregation. I think that consumers at the moment have a lot of video subscriptions per household. I think in the US it's even more than 4 video subscriptions. And I think this will all converge back into one, let's say, super aggregator through which platform you can unlock different video platforms underneath. And well, I think there is a good role for companies like Liberty Latam to play such role and to aggregate all the data in their platform. But then it's also very important to have a very good content discovery solution, because when all this content from different platforms is available in one TV environment, you need to be able to have optimal search and optimal recommendations. Otherwise, consumers just get lost in the amount of content. And also there, Media Distillery think we can play a role in terms of providing topics of what is on the TV and broadcast channels. This can be topics, this can be events, this can be people, this can be, for example, like any news about the European Soccer Championship or the Copa America that is starting soon. It can be certain news on trending topics, on news or politics, or it can be like a sports hero athlete that somebody likes. So if somebody indicates that that's a topic of their liking, you can create carousels or like viewing swim lanes of this kind of content immediately in the home screen. So people feel very personalized and can immediately watch the content that they prefer. So personalization and content aggregation, I think, are the most important pillars for the coming years.
Clear, thanks for that. And Edwin, same question to you. Personalization and content aggregation was Roland's summary. What do you expect?
Well, I think Roland is right that the content proliferation is going to get bigger and bigger. We will see more OTTs. We will see more direct to consumers. We will see more user generating content. and all of them will want a place in your TV or wherever you watch. People will still want to watch them on any device, but the discovery of the content and that discovery experience to be personalized to whomever is watching, that is going to be key. We in Liberty are a big believers in becoming a super aggregator, and that is part of our pay TV strategy. And we believe that the personalization and a friendly way to let the customer know what is for them now, what is going to be the topic tomorrow in the office, maybe, right? I mean, to make sure that you don't miss the show that is going to be the big conversation tomorrow. So I think there is a lot of space for us to work to provide those advanced experiences. I think that those are going to be needed more even so than today, and I think there is a big prize for whoever solves this puzzle of giving every person the pay TV experience that they really want and enjoy.
Okay. And that brings to an end this very interesting presentation. I want to thank you both, Edwin and Roland. I want to thank our audience. Want to thank your questions as well. We will meet very soon in one of our upcoming webinars. Thank you both and have a nice rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you, Roland and Edwin as well. Have a good day.
Great to see you, Roland. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.